What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes, and I'm here, as always, with Joseph Huggins himself, aka Old Man Huggy, aka the Black Python. Welcome, motherfuckers.
That was such a fucking reach. I mean, I appreciate it because I was asking for it last episode, but that you had to really think about that, and then you came up with
Well, no,
Python.
there was like three things that went through my head that I was like, oh, that sounds inappropriate.
Yeah, okay,
So just because you actually, I call myself like the Black Shirley Temple, the Black Jane Goodall.
that's pretty good. The Black Shirley
Yeah,
Temple. That's pretty
yeah.
good. Call me the. I want to be the Black Murphy Brown. Let's go.
Ooh, yeah. And
That's good.
Murphy Brown sounds like a black man.
Or the Black Sybil Shepherd. I don't know if you want to be that. That'd be wild.
Nah.
Well, but
You
what's up?
remember? No, I called you the Black Neil deGrasse Tyson once.
That's nice. I think. Yeah. No. I don't even know what to say to that. That's pretty awesome, though.
That
The
was
Black
like
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
when you were a guest early on.
Okay.
You said your hair was looking like it.
Oh, dude, my hair's getting wild again. Super wild. I need to clip it really bad.
Yeah.
As the
So,
kids would say, no cap. But I'm doing good, man. How are you? I've been chilling, working, busy, trying this meal prep shit, which has been pretty good, actually. I've been trying to meal prep low key. I had to tell somebody because I think that's what you do, and maybe I'll keep going. But I've been doing that too.
You
Ugh.
mean like what? Like accountability?
Well, no, just trying not to eat super shitty.
No,
I
I mean
guess.
by telling someone.
Yeah, I guess. I need someone to be
Yeah.
like, good job, because I'm like, ugh, and I'm like grumpy 24/7 because I'm trying to watch what I'm eating. It sucks.
Well, my ex, who I split custody with the dog,
Mm-hmm.
so we're week on, week off. She got COVID today, and I told her I was going to write a country song called "My Baby Mama Got COVID," and she's like, "I'm." She goes, "I'm not your baby mama." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You're more like a babysitter for my dog."
Oh, dude, that's savage. Come on, man.
If she's gonna clap back, I'm gonna clap back louder. Standing ovation on that clap.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm
Well,
good.
no, man, that sucks. I know somebody else that, somebody I know, they know someone who got COVID. That shit's still going around, man.
My mom has COVID right now.
Oh, damn, dude.
I know, and then she still made me come over to their house, like, for Father's Day. But she was like 11 days in.
Oh,
So,
okay. So she's
oh,
past the window, or should be
well,
past the window.
well, she took a test on Saturday, and she told me that the line was really faded, so maybe she doesn't really have it that much. My brother goes, he's like, well, if I got a girl, or had sex with a girl and had her take a pregnancy test, and the line was that said that she was pregnant was a little bit faded, doesn't mean she's not pregnant.
Yeah.
And then I cut him off, and I was like, yeah, but in that situation it wouldn't matter because I would just force her to have an abortion.
Jeez.
And my mom was like, what?
Yeah.
No. And I'm like, Mom, it's Father's Day, not Mother's Day. I'll see you later.
How? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd. And she got mad about my Jesus with a 50 cal, and
You gave her COVID with all the stress she was enduring from all of your
from the memes, my memes. Yeah, I posted a meme that was making fun of the left a little bit. I think today the John Oliver's just Joe Rogan for people who like Hamilton. I thought that was funny, but I like John Oliver and I like Hamilton, so.
I wouldn't say he's like the woke class, which is like really easy to make fun of. I feel like he's a little bit more thoughtful.
Oh no, definitely. No, I mean it was just a funny meme. Just I was like,
Yeah.
haha, that's kind of funny.
And also, don't you ever say that man's name on this podcast.
Oh, Joey
It's
Bag
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey Bag of Donuts. My apologies, I forgot.
I'm gonna like send him like a receipt and make him pay us every time you say it.
Hey man, maybe he'll hear something, he'll call you out, and then there'll be like a beef or something.
Call me out. I already called his ass out.
That's true.
We're out.
Big facts.
Let's go. Cage match.
Oh man.
Ring the bell. Ding 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 ding. Let's go. Come on.
All right, I have not looked at these therapy questions at all, which I normally do. So I'm gonna check.
It's episode 43. Here we go. As we do therapy questions, we start with therapy question number 1. Joseph, which would you rather be, an unhappy human being or a happy dog?
An unhappy human being or a happy dog?
That's right.
I mean, being a happy dog would be pretty lit. It's already guaranteed I'm going to be unhappy. I'm going to be miserable if I take this other life. Or I can just be like a super happy dog. That sounds like a pretty... I don't know, man. I might take the dog, honestly. If it's going to be just miserable shitty, why would I pick that?
I don't know. I guess to play devil's advocate, you could say you could be an unhappy human, but have a happy dog as your pet, and more than one, you know?
But if you're already it's established that you're an unhappy human, so you can only have so much that would even make you happy. Like your whole existence would be to be unhappy in that scenario, because
how codependent are you on your dog? Where if it's unhappy, you're unhappy. I mean, I probably am. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
My dog stresses me out when she's stressed out.
Yeah, no. Topanga is like a big softie and is like afraid of taking baths and so much stuff that I'm like she's a sweetheart, but I was like, get tough. But no, if I had to pick, maybe the dog. I don't know. Just for the sake of the argument, I'd pick the happy dog.
I'd probably pick the human just because, I don't know. You know, you can't really live as a dog without a human for very long and be happy in this society.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's established in the scenario, I'm a happy dog, then I'm like, that means my existence is happy. But if it's like, oh, you're either going to be really miserable or be a happy dog.
Yeah, you're a happy dog eating your own shit.
Hey, man, be happy while I'm doing it. Let's go.
I guess that's true. if you're into it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. If that's your thing.
Two dogs, one cup.
Yeah. Jesus. Dude. That would be against the law.
Is it?
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Y'all, therapy question number 2. Is it wrong to have children if you don't know whether they want to be born?
What? What the hell is this? This is one of those David Blaine questions. That's I mean, what? I don't even you couldn't.
I mean, this is kind of like a shot at the woke class, where it's like, well, it's actually a shot at everybody. It's either that you think fetuses are babies, right? And then also you think like a 2-year-old can decide what gender they are when they don't even know what the fuck's going on with their lives. So it's like it's kind of like at both extremes. Like it's like they don't know if they want to be born. Should they? Like, is it ethical for you to do that?
Well, I mean, there's people I saw someone who's someone's parents who sued their kid because they didn't, or like their son because they didn't have grandchildren, and sued them. I think it was in India. Yeah, I think it was in India. I'm sure someone's tried to sue their parents for being born or something absolutely absurd like that. Like
you have to get their consent now.
Well, I mean, it's so hyperbolic to the right or like to the left in some ways. Yeah. It's just like so absurd that some of the stuff, like both ways. So I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what universe is this?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's like a kid is not a kid until they're born, and then a kid should be a kid until they're not anymore. Like, just like leave them out of decisions. Like like people like ask their kids where they want to go out to eat. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't
I'll,
under.
I'll tell you where we're gonna go to eat. You're a kid.
Yes, like yeah,
But then
you're.
also, also it's like let them just be kids. You don't have to like put pressure on them, like to make decisions. Like, you know,
Yeah, I don't even. And this is gonna sound really old man of me, but I don't even know if kids like play outside anymore. I don't ever see kids like chilling outside.
I mean, that's because you're not allowed like in like 100 feet of a school or a playground. That's what I heard.
Shut up. No, but I mean, granted, it's Texas and it's hot as shit. But I mean, we just used to run around and do shit, and now there's
Yeah,
like it's everyone's like is literally like cooped up inside. I don't know. It's
I
these
mean,
kids.
I don't know.
Kids are
I mean,
wild.
yeah, there was, yeah. I mean, there's just the COVID thing, but
Yeah, I don't think that
seems,
helped. I think that compounded the issue
yeah, totally,
in some cases.
yeah.
Just like
Blame it on
isolated them.
video games. Just blame
Well,
it on video games, like everybody did in the past.
yeah, this Grand Theft Auto or whatever they want to blame it on.
Fucking Mario Kart, just out here destroying lives. Um,
Seriously, there's been you saw that. I mean, there's just the craziest hills that people want to die on that are so extreme that it's so confusing. People were like, "Oh, well, JFK's like JFK Jr. and JFK are still alive." There's like that was in Dallas. Of course, it's in Dallas because I mean we'll get into it, but Texas is absolutely wild right now. And there was like 500 people that showed up at the JFK like memorial site thinking that JFK Jr. was gonna show up and like it was some QAnon crazy BS or something
and
like
I,
that.
I know I said it before on the podcast when we were talking about this that I had like a QAnon coworker, and
Mm.
usually it would be like me, her, and somebody else be the last people in the office. And I saw that on my phone. I was walking out and I saw her, and I was like, "Did you see JFK Jr. showed up in Dallas?" And she goes, "What? No, I was talking to my daughter. Is that? Are you serious?" And I
That's
was like, "No, I'm not fucking serious." Like she really thought that could have happened, and when I told her it happened, she was like the best day of her life.
yeah. They're like, oh my god, no way, this is unbelievable. How is this possible?
Well, I shut it down real quick. I was like, "No, it's just
But
stupid.
no.
Lock the door on your way out."
Well, and somebody was someone who I come constant arguments about stuff with was talking about how they say that the next big fight's gonna be like kids' rights and kids having rights, and then I'm like, well, to what extent like would you give kids rights? It's so everything is so off, like it's so different and nothing matches. There's no continuity between stuff. You can buy an AR-15 at 18, or well, now they're trying to, now there's more background checks and red flag laws, or they're going through that process, but still you can do these things, but you can't buy jewel pods till you're 21. You can't rent a car till you're 25. It's like all over the fucking place. It's weird.
Yeah, well, it's not that weird. We kind of know why. It's the people
But it's the fact, I guess it's weird to me, is the people that like almost refuse to see how hypocritical
hypocritical.
it is, that it's
Yeah,
like, and I feel like it's because they make these things their whole identity, so it's like they're protecting their own identity, you know.
yeah, they like fetishize like this stuff. But yeah, you're right. It's like cultural, um, yeah, cultural wars is what they call it or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in these, yeah, it's culture wars, but it's so weird. People like pick these one or two or three different things, they're like, oh, well, like I'm super into, if you're into guns, you're super into guns. It's not like, oh, most of the people like, or maybe the way it's publicized and televised is, super hyperbolic, but like, I know people that are like that, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
and
make
then
sense.
well then like politicians they like use like it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Are people super into the guns, or are politicians like out there like talking about guns like like it's like your religion, and then just like and then it kind of feeds into each other. It's like
Yeah.
that it's like they like make it an issue you know
Yeah, I mean, we had, I mean, I had something come to the house in the mail that was like a free, because I live in wild ass Texas, like a sign up for the NRA like flyer that was like, oh, like donate this much money, and had a questionnaire on the back, and it was like, would you vote for somebody that was trying to implement red flag laws? And like it was all really weird questions, and do you think that AR-15s are dangerous? Check yes or no. And there was like 15 of them, and the last one was like, are you ready to join the NRA and fight for your freedom? I was like, oh my god.
How was joining the NRA fighting for your freedom?
Yeah, and
Jesus
then it was like,
Christ.
it was this really nice like parchment paper. It was like really thick. I was like, dang, this is nice. Like it's a nice red ink, some calligraphy on it. No, I'm just, they just put a lot of money behind it. I was like,
Yeah, I
damn.
mean, obviously it's a rich person who's like being able to give out free newspapers
And it
with
was
like
like
propaganda.
100, 150, 250, 500, and like 1,000 were like the donations you could mail back.
Well, if you did that for Trump's campaign online, they would just have like 1,000 reoccurring payment, like $1,000 reoccurring payments automatically checked. Because that like literally did happen.
Oh yeah.
That's how we got the 250 mil or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll just, because we're just gonna talk about all that ridiculous, well, all this new information.
Okay,
Um,
so
and we got one
so
more. The last.
therapy question. Yeah, last one. Therapy question number 3 before we get into our current events. Joseph, is patriotism irrational?
I don't think patriotism is irrational. I think it can become, people become irrational or use that as a justification to like treat others badly or discriminate, basically like be bigoted or whatever. So I think that people can become irrational in their patriotism, but I don't think taking pride in like who you are, where you're from, or your family heritage or background is necessarily a bad thing. But it seems like people jump that fence into pretty deep like fanatic fandom about that it gets a little wild.
I mean, I would say 100% I'm irrational with my patriotism. Like, I've been called out for it before. So, like, dude, and it's like, it's actually like a lot like how I am with my dog. Like, my brother's like, my dog's, I'll just say it, she's never done anything wrong. But my brother's like, I swear to God, like if she like ate a baby, you would just deny it. Like allegedly she ran through my parents' screen door.
Okay.
And I was like, nah, she didn't. To this day, I deny it. Like my mom was like, I saw her do it. I was like, no, she didn't. And that's the same way I'm kind of with our country for the most part. Like at least like historic events and stuff, like, and it was kind of how my dad like raised me. He like told me we never lost a war,
Yeah.
Vietnam existed. And so I just kind of just like was brainwashed, and then now I don't even feel brainwashed anymore. I just still am like irrational with my patriotism, not like in a, like I'm still like able to like call out, like obviously we call out politicians all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not our country, that's just people.
Well, yeah, but I think that being critical of our government or its officials and the elective officials is like,
That is
yeah,
patriotic.
that's one of the most patriotic things you can do. So when people get all upset, I'm like, no, like I don't think that what I'm saying is necessarily wrong, and it's okay to criticize them. And they're like, you can't say that. I'm like, no, you absolutely can. That's like the
You
whole.
have It's like you have a responsibility to say something.
Yeah, if I disagree, I'm gonna voice my opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I could like print it and type it out. Like I could do whatever. Now I could get banned for saying some crazy shit on a platform, and them not liking it. But other than that, I have like freedom of speech. I can have freedom of press. Like these things exist for a reason.
I mean,
So
it's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
yeah.
Like, so that's what's up.
But I mean, I think that patriotism is different than nationalism for sure. And but like I'm patriotic about us in like the World Cup. Those are like beautiful moments. Like those are things where like countries band together and they compete on the world stage. The Olympics, I love the Olympics. But I mean, except for this last one where there was like the like steel plant in the background with the big smokestacks by the ski jumps. So I think they had them in China. Um, those were not the prettiest backgrounds of the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah, you heard it for first. Xi Jinping.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it was like
We're making fun of your smokestacks.
yeah, well they had to like shut down production like before just because there was so much pollution and they needed the sky to clear up.
I know, but they did that too in the Beijing Olympics.
Oh
Well, maybe,
yeah,
or in the first one was like '08 or something, or
what
maybe
I'm
something like that.
excited for the World Cup in Qatar. That's gonna be some wild shit,
That's like
man.
gonna be a shit show, dude.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's gonna be great. That's gonna be the wildest shit ever. But I mean, they suck. So screw Qatar. They suck.
You know,
No, I mean they kind of rigged that whole
we do have we do have
FIFA was so
Americans.
corrupt. FIFA was
Yeah,
so corrupt. Still is,
I
but
know, but I'm just saying we have American troops in Qatar. We have a base there.
well, okay. I'm saying that Qatar you like had
Same with
slave
Saudi Arabia.
essentially used slave labor to build some of these soccer stadiums and like kept them in inhumane living conditions and worked inhumane hours.
Yeah, like indentured servitude, but same shit, different toilet.
Yeah, I was gonna say what
It's the
indentured
same thing.
servitude.
Same thing.
I was like that. You can't say that. That doesn't make it better.
No,
Um,
it doesn't. I just want to clarify because
yeah. Uh,
because you know, okay, whatever.
but I think we can all be irrational with our patriotism and our fandom and our sports teams and stuff like that. Um,
Well, you know what I think about is I think how people, it's like family first.
yeah.
That's kind of irrational. You didn't like choose your family, but almost to a human, almost everybody. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that had shitty families and they don't like them or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like you're kind of like ride or die with your family for the most part. And I think that's the same thing with the country is how I look at it. It's
No,
it's the
that's
only
fair.
it's your only country. So
Yeah.
unless you migrate, and you're probably going to migrate here. So
Yeah. Okay. Point. Touche.
yeah. Um,
Move to Canada.
well, they don't let like a lot of people
I
come in
know
here.
it's really hard. Like
Yeah.
like there's like a point system, and you have to like score a certain amount of points. My dad almost moved to Canada. Um,
Really?
yeah, no, this was like a while ago. They qualified, but like their age counted against them. But it's like how your
And it's a very
education, your money saved, your credit score. There's all these things that equate into you being able to go there. It's a lot to get full citizenship.
yeah, and they only take in like a very small amount compared to the United States as far as immigrants.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh, that's different than refugees, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay. You want to start us off with article number one, current events, y'all.
Yeah, so this is an article. I mean, it's basically about January 6th. This one's specifically about McCarthy. This is something that I was talking about with someone the other day, but also I just wanted to talk about this whole committee and all this crazy shit that's been coming out. It's pretty much a shit show. And McCarthy, I mean, Trump came out and said that Kevin McCarthy was foolish for not having any real representation on the committee. But in case people forgot, they voted for the committee, and if I remember correctly, they didn't want to. So then they basically chose to not pick who they wanted to have on the committee. So the reason they don't have anyone on the committee is essentially because McCarthy could and Trump and other people. I wouldn't believe for a second that Trump didn't have some sort of say in not wanting to vote against the committee, right? If
I don't know. I mean, I'm. It's almost that he like just is like a shadow like looming behind these fools, and like he's like terrified them so much that like that he I forget what it's called, but it's like where you don't even have to he doesn't have to say like what he wants. They just do what they think he would like, you know?
yeah,
Because it's like oh, I heard somebody do this analogy, and this is a little bit like dark alert-ish, but it's like if you like spank your kid, but you do it like randomly for no reason, then they're gonna like question everything they do because they don't want to get spanked. And it's like that's how these like Republicans behave. It's like they like don't even know like how they could fuck up, so they just want to like not ever cross the line with Trump. Like because they don't know like when or if he's going to freak out on them.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I definitely see that. I mean, he's mobilized so many people to go out and vote. There's such a mob mentality with these people that they're if they're not afraid of him, they're afraid of his mob, you know. He's got the biggest group of people, so if he says vote for him, I mean, he's had a bunch of people lose recently. And I definitely say this committee, he looks worse going than he did coming out. And I thought that he wouldn't. I didn't think that it'd be this in depth. They've done a really good job having it be kind of unbiased. I mean, I know that Liz Cheney, she's Republican from Wyoming. I don't necessarily like her very much, but I think her having a big hand in doing it, her losing her position within the Republican Party, basically because she said, "Yeah, that was fucked up. You guys shouldn't have done that. That's wild shit. We should have a committee." And then she's on it. But you know, there's a lot of people they probably would have appointed to the committee had McCarthy, like, had they agreed to vote, had they just gone along with the committee. Now they can't do any cross examination. There's going to be no what evidence that they can introduce that's going to dispute anything because there's nobody doing that. So they're just getting to basically tell their story. It doesn't come off as very biased or anything like that. It's pretty clear with some of the interviews. I mean, I think Ivanka Trump admitting that she agreed with Bill Barr, who said that the election wasn't rigged. I mean, I believe the FBI agents that's testified, every single person that was a pro-Trump person that's testified being like, yeah, there was no election fraud. It's like
Yeah.
Giuliani
Well,
was shit-faced.
we already knew that.
Well, yeah, but they hear the story of like, yeah, Giuliani was shit-faced and is like, oh, you should just declare that you've won, and then it spiraled into this whole thing is wild.
To be honest though, like, what was the purpose of like bringing up that Giuliani was shit faced on election night? I think it was like literally just to clown him.
Yeah,
Like
probably. I mean,
it's
he's
like
got that
it's like
coming though,
okay, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You know, he's got like a hair dye like
running
dripping
down
down his
his
forehead.
face. Yeah.
God damn, son of a bitch. He's like whipping out his dick on like a Borat movie.
Dude,
Like
that was so wild. And people are like, no. And he was like, I was just fixing my shirt. I was like, nah, bro. I don't know
that was
what you're talking about. And even if you were, like, if you still believe it was real, why are you in that room in the first place, dude?
we already know.
He's like, yeah, he's like the Crypt Keeper and the Penguin. Like, if they had, like, a kid, it'd be like, really Giuliani, dude.
That is a fact.
Yeah,
That is a
dude. Because
fact.
he's like kind of like the Penguin, but he's too old now. He's not agile enough to be Cobblepot.
Oh, but the Crypt Keeper's not.
Yeah, because the Crypt Keeper's not very agile. He's a slow mover,
But he's
man.
old. He's more than old. He's dead.
Yeah, so that's why he'd have a little bit of the Penguin youth, but he would have like the body structure
I see.
and the skin of the
I,
Crypt Keeper. But he has
I,
yeah, same amount of
okay,
hair.
maybe.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, Trump's out now publicly
So
criticizing McCarthy for
yeah, for the audience, McCarthy is the minority leader in the House. So if and a lot of people predict this will happen that the Republicans take over the House of Representatives in November, he will become the Speaker of the House, take over Nancy Pelosi's job, and become the third in line to the presidency. This hassle.
yeah.
That's what's on the line.
But Trump endorsed him, but he said it was only for his re-election campaign and not for House Speaker. So Trump's obviously pissed. He's made comments about being pissed.
He actually said that there's no hard feelings between them, and that McCarthy had a bad day. Whenever McCarthy was like talking, he was like going, he's like, dude, we can. He's like, do you know who the fuck you're talking to? Is a quote from McCarthy to Trump while they're getting attacked in January 6th.
yeah, they're absolutely. I mean, the whole thing is goofy as fuck. So, and that's what I knew was going to happen. They've done this 100 times. It's like in Pennsylvania, when a Republican legislature passed laws to expand voting, expand mail-in voting, and do all of these things because they thought doing it would get them an even bigger landslide win for Trump. And then in the end, all those people who voted to do that complained about all of the mail-in votes coming in that were for Biden and weren't for Trump, and they ended up losing because more people voted. So they voted against, well, I guess, what was their best interest. Because in Texas, it was difficult as fuck to mail in, to vote by mail. They expand the window, but it wasn't like easy to, if you wanted to vote from home. Like my dad couldn't. My dad was old, pre-existing health conditions, and it was impossible for him to get approved to vote by mail. So he had to go in and vote.
I mean, I know Joey Bag of Donuts does a lot of conspiracy theories, but you think that Trump started COVID just so that people wouldn't go out and vote?
No, I think that's a little ridiculous. That's a
You
little
heard it
absurd.
here first, y'all.
No, you didn't.
Just kidding.
No,
Oh
no,
man.
but
Well, it just made me think like how your dad couldn't go vote because it was during a pandemic and he had
yeah,
pre-existing conditions. And then I'm like, well, Trump was president when COVID happened.
yeah, true. But I
And
mean,
they were taking away like drop off
oh,
boxes
dude,
like all over.
All of Harris County had one. But I think they're down to one mail like drop in ballot box.
And that's like with the biggest county in like the goddamn country almost, like besides like LA. And like um that's like where Houston is. And also uh shit, what was I say? Never mind. I just blanked.
Yeah, but there's a couple people that have been implicated in this whole process too. While this has been going on,
Oh, I was gonna say the postmaster general, they Trump appointed started like
oh,
taking away machines to process mail so like it would get backed up. Like they tried all sorts of shit.
oh, definitely, dude. They're absolutely ridiculous. And it's so transparent, and people they're like, no, they're just improving it. Well, that guy just got fired and replaced, if I remember correctly.
I know he was staying on board because he has like a term, but maybe I mean I didn't see he got fired, but I knew that he was at least working for a little bit under Biden. And I was like, God damn it!
Yeah,
But
dude.
I mean that's just because Biden doesn't break the law. He's like, okay, well this guy's got a term limit.
Yeah, it's the way. Well, Bill Barr was cracking me up in his testimony because he's talking about how Trump was detached from reality, but he was definitely like he's cussing in there. He's like, it's all bullshit, blah 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 blah, and he's so dramatic because I think he's gonna like write some book or something like that
He
probably.
already did.
Oh, did he? Well, I mean, he's probably gonna write a.
Let's not plug it.
Well, no, but I mean, he's probably gonna write a second one just because whatever. Like he's explaining why he left. All the lawyers that were involved that are in the West Wing that are Trump's lawyers discussing why they ended up leaving, quit, got fired, testifying and talking about there was two different camps. There was like Giuliani's camp, and there's this lawyer Easterman who was out there with all of his crazy conspiracy theories and trying to interpret the law a certain way. And he was in touch with McCarthy, with essentially everybody. He was the one who essentially came up with the whole theory of how they could get Mike Pence to deny the election results, send the electors back to the states, and basically pause the election. And there's two camps within Trump's camp. The way from how it seems on the testimony.
Well, the counsel for Pence testified in
Yeah,
public. That guy was awesome.
yeah,
Like, like he's not my style. Like working for Pence, and he was reading in the Bible and stuff. But like some of the like stuff he was saying, like he just was very straightforward. He's just a lawyer, and he's like, yeah, this is fucked up. But he didn't say. He was like very like you know
eloquent about
like
it.
yeah, white shoe lawyer. Like squeaky clean. And yeah, he just was like Jesus. Like, but like the Bible verse he read, it was like about it was like Old Testament, I think, and it was like about Babylonia and this like guy who got like the opportunity for power, but he gave it up. It was like in the Bible, and it was like exactly like what Trump wasn't doing. And he's like in like the basement of the Capitol, like hiding from like the rioters with like Pence and like the Secret Service and the nuclear football. Like it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, whenever they explained that there was people that were like 30 to 40 meters away from him and how close
Feet, yeah.
feet away from him and how close they got to him and his family. It really put things into perspective. It's super crazy. Then, and the comments that were made, and then Trump agreeing with his rioters and protesters. Pence is the person who called in the National Guard and have it all stop. All these people, it's just so interesting. Yeah, Pence's lawyer was talking about how Easterman was plugging this idea like on the 5th, on the even after January 6th, he was still actively pursuing people to deny the election or say that the election was a fraud or was
Yeah,
stolen.
this asshole. I said because they didn't like completely do the ritual that they do when they're certifying the election, because there's a bunch of fucking rioters and they had to stop for like 4 hours. Even though Pence stayed there like a G, and I'll never forgive Trump for making me respect Pence.
Yeah,
But
true.
he tried to say
He's weird.
because they didn't do like the exact ritual or whatever they do where they and it was then he's like, so what, like, why is it a big deal if we just do a little bit more and just don't certify the whole thing?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. He said like he's like now that the sanctity of the process has been like
right.
diminished, why not break the rules again? He was actively doing this, and this Easterman, he is a clerk. He used to be a clerk for Clarence Thomas back in the day. He was a clerk, wasn't he? I believe it was a
No, I'm just shaking
yeah,
my
yeah.
head
I
when you
believe he
say
was a
Clarence
clerk.
Thomas.
He used to be a Clarence Thomas clerk. And then there was another gentleman. What was his name? The Republican lawyer who also testified, older guy, and he was talking about how these
Yeah, he was
people
like
are
a
actually,
judge.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Jungerman or
I
Juggerman. I can't
yeah,
remember what it is.
he was. I came in after he initially spoke, but I did see him speak because they gave him like the last word on like how dangerous, like this is an ongoing
Yeah,
dangerous
he was
situation.
yeah, essentially saying that they're still actively doing these things. They're doing it in public and candidly and joking about it. And he thinks they would actively do it in the 2024 election, whether they won it or not. These people are positioning themselves to do this again, um, and that we need to actively stop it. See, and this is, I think that it's been so transparent, and maybe McCarthy screwed up. I'm more worried that like someone like Ron DeSantis is going to end up getting the Republican nomination than I am Trump. I think there's enough people right now who would actively vote against Trump because this shit looks so crazy. I think Ron DeSantis would try to be the same thing but act like he's different. Um, and try to start shit. If like, I mean, do you?
I'm not sure because well, Trump's never won a popular vote.
Yeah,
However, yeah, so that's good for us, but for the good guys. Um, but with DeSantis, I think if he became president, he might not feel like he has to act like Trump that much. I feel like it's like performative, like, but I don't. I hate him. Like, I think he's a terrible governor. But Trump is like, I mean, in my opinion, like one of the worst people on the fucking planet.
yeah, but I
Like,
was, the tactics that Ron DeSantis uses to try to get what he wants is what like worries me about him
yeah,
more.
but don't you think that if he lost the election, he would at least concede the election?
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing is I think that Trump being associated with this, we'll see the outcome. I mean, there's still more information to come, so we'll see. But it's obviously a compelling story. I think that as this continues, people might step away from it just because, if not Trump, I think some people associated with this might be on the hook or might be in a little bit of trouble because the Easterman guy was clerk of Clarence Thomas, was caught having correspondence with Ginny Thomas, which I have a whole, we'll talk about that as well. But her being the wife of the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, and her actively pursuing people to overturn the election. I think there's 29 different people she was emailing, having constant contact with McCarthy, with Mark Meadows, who is the chief of staff for Donald Trump, Easterman. She was just bouncing all over the place, actively communicating with people, talking about how they need to send it back to the states, stop the, basically act
Like
like lobbying for a coup.
martial law. Yeah, she said bring in the troops to stop this shit.
And that's
But
the
I was
wife of a Supreme Court justice who would, if that would have gone to the Supreme Court and they would have made a decision on that, and he like it just looks bad. And Clarence,
it's literally is there is something in the Supreme Court about it, and he hasn't recused himself. But
yeah, no, yeah,
what I was gonna say is we're rolling the dice Like if like because this is the thing, it doesn't matter if Trump gets the nomination, he's not going to concede when he loses. So
Yeah, at any point.
so never. He just still hasn't conceded the last election.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah,
And
me.
now they like learn from their like failures on their last coup attempt. So like DeSantis, if he loses, uh, I would hope, because nobody in the history of the United States other than Trump has not conceded.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
I would hope that he would. And so that's what I'm saying. Like he might be more electable. However, he would also respect the rule of law, I think.
Well, but no, he's tried to do all sorts of things. I mean, we watched him actively punish Disney for
Right.
because of his bias,
No,
because of
he
something because they disagreed with him publicly, and so he actively punished them using his political power. That's something that we saw Trump do from time to time, but not to that extent where he stripped a corporation of their special tax status.
what are you talking about?
Well, no, but I mean,
He
well,
banned Muslims from coming into the country.
no, 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 no. I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is Ron DeSantis like the "Don't Say Gay" bill and all these other things where he just
No,
tries to
I'm not
yeah.
saying he'd be a good president.
No, 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 I know.
I'm just trying to say it wouldn't be a fucking civil war.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the way Ron DeSantis does stuff is I think he's actually in his own smarter than Trump,
Yeah,
and
who's not?
yeah, but I think he's just as dangerous. But yeah, no, but the people, everyone just is latched onto Trump, and it's so crazy. And all these people, because what
I mean,
the
the guy that started an insurrection
yeah,
is not it cannot be less worse than the next person.
and one of the gentlemen, the lawyer we were talking about earlier, he was a mentor to Ted Cruz, Easterman, somebody else. He there was like six other people that are associated with him, and he just basically called them all out and called them on their bullshit when he was up there and what he was saying. And it's super interesting. And I know people that are actively not watching this refuse to watch it, refuse to pay attention to
Fox
it,
News won't even broadcast
won't
it.
even broadcast it, but honestly, refuse to even pay attention to it. And it's frustrating. And I asked them why. And I know it's like we said before, their identity in some ways is wrapped up in this, where they still think that it was rigged, they still think it's fake. I'm like, no, man, I believe these people that I don't like, who are telling me that this didn't happen, who the FBI agents who's interviewed all of these people that were in this room and broke it all down and explains oh, those big suitcases, that's a 5 seconds of a 5 minute clip where they thought that they were done counting votes for the night, and then they decided to stay open because there was some more votes and count them, and that was just a locked secure ballot box in a bag. That's how they transport them. But this Republican FBI agent is sitting there talking about how he interviewed all these people and how everything in that clip was a lie and how it was a doctored clip. So these people are breaking down propaganda and people lying, and I think some of them just can't handle watching it because I think they were duped, and people are so stubborn and
Well, they're everybody's in their own tribe.
lack the self-awareness to really to look at themselves and be like, damn, I could be wrong, or maybe I got duped, you know.
Yeah. But so like during the second impeachment, which is had to do with January 6th,
Yeah.
um, I was talking to my cousin, Big Sexy, and he's a really smart guy, and but he was saying he's like that maybe the impeachment was a mistake because he knows that that Trump's not going to get convicted. And I was like, no, dude, like it's not even Trump on trial. It's all these Republican senators who were going to refuse to convict him, uh, even though it's so blatant, and it's for the American people to see how fucking crazy this was. And that's the same thing with this committee. It's it might not change that many people's minds, but this is for history. Yeah, this guy is really attempted a fucking coup on the United States, and here are all the facts. And it's maybe it doesn't change a single voter, but I'm sure it will. But not I don't know if it's going to be definitive, but that doesn't matter. It's like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Because if people, let's say they have a big, the primary, and it's like 15 or 22 people, like it was last time whenever they started, and they go through, like some of this information, people are going to use this to attack him. So he's going to have to answer questions about this stuff at some point on
I've thought
camera.
about that too. Yeah.
So like he's going to be pushed to the point to where he's going to have to talk about it. So if somebody wants to attack Trump, get the presidency and change it, they're basically going to be questioning him and calling him out. And it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts, what he says. And that's still going to be, another, what, year and a half from now. Right now we get to see him in these controlled environments where he's either doing a little like news clip on Newsmax or some shit, or talking in, you don't even see him, he's just a little picture box and it's just him talking on speakerphone, or it's a rally where he's set up because he's still actively having rallies for some fucking reason, like a
Well,
weirdo.
I actually heard this that he wants to announce that he's running this summer. So like we're in the summer, it's June.
I wouldn't be surprised, but he's definitely not said
Uh,
he's not.
no, but he wants to announce it and make it an official thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his people are telling him not to do that till after the midterms. They're like, no, dude, no, 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 no. And he's like, it's like he thinks like he's gonna get ahead of this. It's like, yeah, what a great time to announce it when you're just getting like blasted, like on camera for being a fucking treasonous terrorist.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are like plan on running for president
Yeah, but
in.
they don't announce it this early.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that plan on running like in the next election. Some of these people are interesting individuals who are kind of talked about in this, committee, who are for actively doing some goofy ass shit too. No, I mean he wanted to call that he say he won the election before before these people said like, man, that was super early. You probably shouldn't do that. Not all the votes are in. And he's like, we won. Cause
Not the first one, not against Hillary.
yeah,
I remember when he like they announced that he won. He walked out. He looked like he was crying, except for he's like incapable of crying because he's a sociopath. And
yeah.
like, but it was like crying not because he was happy. It was like he was like, oh shit, what did I do? Like he did not think he was gonna win. He thought he was gonna get a tower in Moscow built with his name slapped on it.
Yeah, I think that all the people he enables is what makes him scary. So, like, he's normalized so many things that society had worked like at least a decent amount, or maybe we were farther from it than I thought on some things. But I thought we were in better shape in some of these issues that we've had bubble up in the past couple years, like from whenever he ever initially started running, or even before. Some of these theories he'd push or things he'd say, I think, in for society have been regressive and has normalized certain aspects of society that I was thought we were past more. Like he's like weaponized certain things in people, or mobilized certain groups of people, and made them feel like he's speaking for them, even when I think it's really just him like dog whistling them. But
Yeah,
but
it's
some
dog
of it, but
whistling, but he's like playing on people's fears
yeah,
and and you have to think about the inequality in the economy in the United States
oh yeah,
has never been greater. And then so then it's like, well, who's taking your jobs? First thing he said, like those immigrants coming over from Mexico, you got to build the wall. And it's like, no, actually, it's like robots, you idiot. And then it's like, um, so he's like, and then the opioid crisis, like, like I just feel like there's this like in manufacturing, like there's this, and then all of a sudden the pandemic, but I guess that didn't really help him. But
yeah.
it's just like there's this segment of like uh white, white rural and blue collar, like uh, segment of the population that just feel like they're getting like a raw deal, and he for some reason is you know the one, and then he's like, yo, it's the brown people who are taking your jobs,
Well, now would you say that I totally agree, And I think that what he's done is he's normalized and mainstreamed some of the bullshit those people get taught, or or like, pick up around them in their environment. There's so many people that, grow up in a small rural town of 2,000 people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but depending on where you are and what the demographic is, you might never come in contact with certain types of people and how they're portrayed, or stereotypes. Things in the media might determine what you think about those people or what you expect those people to be. And Trump also, kind of tickles those things for people. And these same people, where you talk about these rural, low income, lower income, lower educated Caucasian people in this country.
I love the poorly educated.
Well, like,
That's a literal quote from him.
yeah, like he plays into those bad tropes and bad stereotypes that they would use as excuses in some cases. Obviously, they might, come from bad means, and obviously there's issues to that. But, you could blaming somebody else as an easy way out. And if they're taught to do that at a young age, Trump's just mainstreamed that again,
Yeah, it's grievance politics, and he just caught lightning in a bottle. Like, there's so many states that voted for Barack Obama that voted like twice, and that voted for Trump. And it's like, well, how the fuck does that work? Like, counties, like multiple counties,
Yeah.
up in like the blue wall, as they called it, like Ohio. Like,
Well, it started with the Tea Party, and then the Tea Party was really crazy, and then the Tea Party is like morphed into this, like, became this MAGA thing.
Well, it got hijacked. Tea Party was a fucking astroturf movement. It wasn't a grassroots movement. It was like funded by the Koch brothers, and
Well,
like
yeah,
they just made it seem like it was grassroots. And it's like, no, this is bullshit, dude. But yeah, it did work as far as like taking over Congress until it didn't.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
it helped normalize radicalized people and people saying wild shit. The Tea Party helped to do that. Like, Sarah Palin helped with that, and being like, oh, don't you know, and like being all goofy and just being a whack ass politician to begin with. John McCain signed a deal and with the devil and decided to do that, and that normalized like people like that. You don't have Lauren Boeberts and Marjorie Taylor Greens if you don't have Sarah Palin. She's like the genesis. She's like, you know what I'm saying? She's the mother of the Immaculate Conception, because she helped lay the groundwork for all these schmucks to go out there and blow.
Would you hook up with her?
Back in the day, maybe, yeah.
What about right now, today?
Nah.
Would you pay her $100 to say "Happy Birthday, Joseph" on Cameo?
Is that how much it costs?
I don't know. I haven't.
If somebody paid it for me, I'd be like, hell yeah, bro. But other than that, I wouldn't like pay for that for myself.
Donald Trump Jr. is on Cameo. You could pay $300.
Dude, that coked out crazy mofo, dude. That dude's so yacked out all the time,
bro.
And that's what's crazy is just like Ivanka got up there and was like, "Yeah, I respect Bill Barr, and I believe when he told me that there was no election fraud and that we lost." And then
that's because her husband Jared got a $2 billion fund from the Saudis after they got out of the office, and she's like, "I don't need you, Dad, with your broke ass."
Well, she made $640 million off of her name and likeness or some crazy shit while she was in office.
It's not $2 billion.
Yeah, well, he got a $2 billion investment, and she got 640. He got a billion in an investment in his business. She like copped that.
Yeah, his business. What the fuck is his business?
Who knows, dude?
Nothing. It's a slush fund. It is bullshit.
Dweeb lessons. How to be
it's fingers crossed by Mohammed bin Salman that Trump will get back in the White House, and he's like, this is just, it's an investment for him to make more money if Trump is back in the office,
or whether he is or not.
And it's also like a payment for what they did while they were in office. Sorry.
Big facts. And I mean, speaking of which, they basically laid out that Trump's fund, the Stop the Steal Fund, official Stop the Steal Fund, or Save the Election Fund, was basically a sham. They got about $250 million out of everybody, $250 million plus. They could
his supporters.
from his own supporters, and they can only account for like what they say, like 5 to 8 million of it, or something crazy like that, something really small. The rest of it vanished in this like super PAC fund that didn't get used towards any of it, and he paid 1 million or something to some group that helped set up his rally. I think it's like something logistics, but or they helped set up his whole January 6th event out front with his walk and all of that bullshit. Like the build up, they helped organize that event.
Yeah, except for he didn't walk. He just said he was going to, and then he just let everybody else go do his shit for him.
Yeah. He used their money. He used their money to set up an event for them to go attack their own government.
And we're sitting here arguing about it.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd.
Fucking nuts. It makes me so.
And
it's like you can't even talk to like the other side about it, and it's like, yeah, like we can have different points of view on how this country should be governed, but how are we arguing about whether like we should let like fucking sitting presidents try to overturn an election they just lost and like have like like their supporters pay them $250 million to fucking do it. It's like ridiculous.
And then you rip them off.
I know.
And then you rip everybody off, and then you're using it like that's it's so wild to me. It's so fucking wild. And
it's like 1984 up in here, Like
yeah, I mean, there's
we're through the looking glass.
I posted that. I mean, well, I guess we'll talk about it in the Texas section, but man, just some of the wildest shit. Some of these people are doing the wildest shit and saying the craziest stuff, like off the wall, and people attach themselves to it, and they're so gung-ho about it. They're so excited about the fact that this is going on, and it's like, I know people want to be a part of something, but like, come on, have some sort of boundaries or standards for like there's people up there who were like, I wish Trump had won the election, but he didn't, who are actively like worked for him, campaigned with him, wanted him to win the election, were in the White House and had to draw a line in the sand. They said it was like Team Giuliani and Eastman, and then it was like reality. That was what one of the
get that shit out of here. I hate that. Yeah.
Well, obviously they're being high.
I'm done with that term. Like oh, this is like the reality crew or whatever the fuck they call it. It's like
Team Normal, I think you call
team.
it.
Team
Normal. But I mean,
it's like no, you weren't.
Well, but I think they're drawing a line whenever he's trying to. They said that
they're covering their own asses. Dude.
Oh, absolutely! But the fact that they'd be covering their own asses is telling in itself.
Such a low bar, such a low bill bar.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, he's a total schmuck. But I mean, still.
I know, but this is what I like to say to like people who are Trump fans. Like when you were a kid and you imagined like a president that you would really look up to. Was it Donald Trump? Is this the guy that you would think that you're like reading about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and JFK and FDR, and you're like, yeah, I think Donald Trump's the guy for me. It's like, so that's odd. Nobody thought that. Nobody would have like wanted that. And then the fact that you're like that now, like maybe like do some like introspection.
Well, yeah, that's like you could ask them, anybody who would say like, yeah, growing up, Donald Trump is the type of guy I envisioned, like that he was
to be like the leader of the free nation.
He was the guy. He was the guy. I mean, and I like him. He's a cool like historical character, I guess. But like that's somebody who's like, oh man, my favorite historical figure is like Boss Tweed, or like it'd be it'd be like someone who's like, I like Al Capone, or maybe you have like a bunch of Al Capone posters all over your room.
Like Ty Cobb.
Yeah, Ty
Which
Cobb.
I used to like, but then I found out how racist it was.
Super racist. Super.
I got so mad at my 10-year-old self. I'm like, dude, why was that your boy?
Yeah, but I mean, but I think that they actively tried to suppress that. Like that almost got lost in time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because he was like one of the greatest hitters of all time, so they wanted to keep that under wraps. So they loved like Toby Gwynn because it was like the polar opposite of what he was, and he was a good hitter. He was super, super nice, and he was a really good interview. He had batted for high averages. So I'm sure there were some people who were like, yes,
coach at San Diego State.
Like, go. Like they were all about it because Ty Cobb was definitely, he was saved by not existing. Media wasn't the same. No, he would have been,
Oh yeah, well
like as
they
people
didn't
like
even
that.
have they didn't even have black people in the league.
Like, well, I mean, you got to think John Rocker right now. Remember John Rocker, that crazy closer? He played
That
for the Rangers for a bit and said all that crazy racist stuff. Like he
yeah,
would, like, I mean,
he was
even
on
then,
Pros versus Joes.
yeah. But I mean, he wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have even made it this far at this point in society, acting like that. And it took him forever. He was still getting jobs after that. For a little bit, he was like, "Oh, the troubled pitcher," and it's like,
I
no,
know
like the
he definitely is. Yeah,
yeah, like no, he's like
I think he's been. I don't know. There has to be a period.
rehabilitated.
Yeah, as far as like his like image, like
Well, yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
that
people like
like
Jose Canseco now. So I mean,
there
anybody.
has to be like forgiveness, otherwise it doesn't mean
Mm.
shit. You know,
No, I'm
it's
not
like
saying that there doesn't need to be, but I'm saying like
because it's like you want people to say I'm sorry, and then when they say I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Then why the fuck would like does that even exist?
yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
with Ty Cobb it's a little bit different. Like you could
Well, Ty Cobb,
you
yeah, of
yeah, that's
course.
what I'm saying is you
He
could
died. He died
yeah, he
racist.
died racist. Like his last word was like 5 slurs and like then he just died or something like that. It
It was
had to
just like
be.
N word, N word, N word.
But like I mean but like man, like the
Ah.
other day I was out and I was getting food and man, like if I'm ever out, even if I'm out like with my parents or if I'm out with a Caucasian girl in the area I live in, we'll talk
You
about
have the
this sometimes.
caucasity for that?
Like, dude,
Did you have the
looks,
caucasity for
the
that?
looks where I'm like, man, you're really either you really like my Toastmaster shirt or you're like super super pissed off about something. You having an issue with the mic? All I need is one mic, one mic, one. All I need is one.
I was gonna try to actually move from where I'm sitting, and then I realized that it's probably not gonna work.
Okay, that's fair. No,
uh, so
no. I mean,
do you want to?
forgive.
We got to move on or what?
Yeah, yeah, we can move on. Basically, pay attention to the committee. There's a bunch of wild shit coming out. Obviously, Trump is like the ringleader. There's a bunch of people attached to this whole what looks like a conspiracy between emails, people that are attached to it. There was turmoil inside the West Wing about what to do about it. Lawyers on Trump's team pressuring people even after the 6th. So just check it out. If you don't want to watch it because you're afraid it'll shatter your reality, go watch it because you probably need it to be fucking shattered because you're stupid. Okay. I think I'm okay.
I hope you are.
I'm trying, man. I'm pissed.
Okay.
Texas is a fucking nightmare. So basically, Texas has been going off the deep end. The Texas Republican Party convention went on this weekend. While this was going on, there was Dan Crenshaw. If you know who he is, Republican representative Dan Crenshaw. They refer to him as Eye Patch McCain. That's like a slur that they use to describe him, like somehow being a war hero is something terrible. So they're always giving him shit. And he was harassed and assaulted by a bunch of crazy QAnon-style extremists who basically, Crenshaw was pro everything. People used to love him because he was super rogue. And now he's being harassed and attacked by a bunch of crazy motherfuckers at the Republican Party convention, the Texas Republican Party convention, which was a crazy shit show in itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. The Texas GOP has essentially gone off the deep end. Well, first of all, I don't know if
real quick, do you think that people understand what GOP means when like, cause I see it all the time, like on, like, I mean, I know, but like, do you think like the average person like relates GOP to the Republicans? Because I always started thinking like this is like a strategy for Republicans not to get like branded like with the stupid shit they do. So they're like GOP, you can call us like, and don't tell anybody what that means.
Yeah, I mean, it can. I mean, for some people,
because the Democrats don't have like
I guess.
Yeah, the Democrats don't have a equivalent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they just have the DNC.
Well, they have the RNC.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying like everything is. They don't have some
stupid grand old party fucking nickname
GOP.
that like they don't have.
I'm with GOP.
Yeah, I wonder if like when like normal people who don't pay attention to it like as much as we do, like are just like I don't know who that is.
Maybe they just think it's everyone. They're like, man, that GOP man, they've been there and getting shit done, and they think it's everyone.
Yeah, or just because like I'm doing like a bunch of the finance like training, and there's like acronyms everywhere,
Oh yeah.
and so it's like I don't know what the fuck this is like unless until I find out, but um and so I just kind of think about that, like if it's like actually like
Well, and
help.
I don't think people associate like that each state has their own. So there's like the state level, then there's like the national level. So I think that some people just think maybe they think it's all one big thing. But the Texas GOP is crazy.
Which
This
is the Republicans.
Yeah, the Republicans in Texas are crazy. So they voted or their platform, the whole Texas Republican platform was that on like these are bullet points. They that the Biden president was not legitimately that Biden wasn't legitimately elected. So their whole platform in Texas was that the
Based on
election
the
was
big
stolen.
lie.
Yeah, it was based on the big lie, which has already been proven that it's not true. They wanted to do a referendum on secession, so that they were actively talking about seceding from the United States.
When are they not in Texas?
True,
Like,
but that's never been like a platform of the Texas GOP, like the Texas Republican Party going out there and saying like we should actively look into recession or sorry, not
secession.
recession, secession. I'm sorry.
Uh, um,
That's
there was this Russian
wild.
plot that, like, so there was this big thing in California once Trump won the first time, or the only time, I guess, if he did win. That's right.
Well, he didn't.
He, I know
He lost. He was not as popular.
exactly, but there was this Russian campaign, which clandestinely in social media about California should secede from the Union, and like it got like traction, but you would have no idea it was like from Russia. But it's like they were like playing both sides, like they're like on Trump's side, but they're just like trying to like
Yeah.
foment
Oh yeah.
like chaos. So like this Texas shit, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of Vladimir's like
Oh, I'm
tiny
sure.
tiny fingers in it.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised, but to actively be doing that as like the established, supposedly respectable Republican Party in Texas, that
Respectable.
well, I said supposedly, supposedly. And then they also declared that homosexuality is an abnormal lifestyle. I mean,
Yeah.
there's rhetoric in there, essentially talk. I mean, it sounds
Like
like
who does
they're
who
just
does
gonna
that
come after
serve?
gay marriage. Like, what does that even? And they also had there's people talking about the abolishment of the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
Well, they kind of already did. The
Well, no,
Supreme
yeah,
Court did.
well, yeah, but I mean, they're like actively like restricting it even more. Like Texas is always pushing the limits. Texas is crazy. Earlier today, that came out there was surveillance footage with like I just saw stills of the police inside the school at Uvalde. I'm not even kidding you. Down the hallway and where they stood for like an hour
Yeah.
and their act they just had a city council meeting where they kicked everybody out of the city council meeting, all of the press and all the parents and community members in the city council meeting because the city council members felt threatened, so they had a meeting behind closed doors where the public and the press was not allowed today.
So it sounds like freedom.
That's fucking crazy. Texas
Where
is
where, where does the
what is going on?
why not a citizen's arrest? Like what's going on here?
I
I
don't
mean,
even like
if
Matt.
it was South Lake, they would have cuffed everybody.
No, they have no South Lake. They had some emergency school board sessions at like 9:30 at night or like 5 or 4 in the morning, and they put out like an hour
But
notice, and no one ever shows up because they can't get there because it's at like 5 in the fucking morning. So they have their
is
own.
that the new board?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was that thing that was posted. I posted. It was this guy. He's like a news reporter. I'm sorry, and he was talking about how there's this triangle in Texas, in North Texas, that includes my hometown, goes all the way up to like Denton, and cuts all the way through like the Colleyville, Keller, South Lake Grapevine area, and how like there was people arrested at the Capitol. There was 2 people from this area who were arrested at that big gathering that they had for that gay pride event where all those 31 people got arrested outside of U-Haul. There was 2 guys from Watauga, from North Texas, and how this area of North Texas has just been pumping out these people. And there's maybe like 15 or 16 identified like borderline hate groups / political activist groups or nationalist groups in the DFW area right now.
Sounds tight for you, bro.
Yeah, it's great. I love going to Arby's and getting a chicken bacon Swiss right now.
They got the beef, homie.
I know, that's why I get the chicken.
um, I was just gonna say, how great was it that those 35 dudes up in North Dakota, wherever it was, South Dakota.
It was Idaho.
Oh, that's right, Idaho. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Got fucking caught up in a U-Haul truck all together with masks on, like not like COVID masks, like masks like we're about to terrorize some people.
Well, did you see that they admitted
like body armor and like
batons and helmets and shit? But did you see they
you
had undercovers, bro? They had undercovers in there. So like the guy talked about.
So it was just always been.
Well, no, somebody reported him. Somebody saw him, but they were like, yeah, we had like also informants, like undercover informants, like identified these dudes and sold them out. But there was guys from 13 different states, 11 or 13, somewhere around there. Between 11 and 13 different states, a bunch of crazy white men got in a U-Haul van and drove across the country to try to hit people at a gay pride event with batons and shields, and they all got unmasked
in the whitest place ever.
Yeah, and then one of them, their mom, like basically told their son not to come back. He got arrested, but they all got outed. So she outed him and did this like AMA event thing where she basically talked on the news, answered questions, and talked about her son being in this group, and how he got kicked out. He had to choose between the group or the family, and he chose the group and got arrested. I mean, these people are.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something else, though?
What?
That guy moved back in with his mom since then.
Oh, I'm sure. Because family love is unconditional.
No, she was like, because he's trying to figure out where he's gonna live next. She let him back in, even though she kicked him out.
Yeah.
Like, and then he did that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
why is he out of jail in the first place?
Well, I mean, because it was like with intention to start a riot, so they didn't like hit anybody. So what they caught him on, they arrested him, and they knew they were doing it. But the video is hilarious when they open it up and they're all packed in the back of that thing like sardines, and they all have their hands
circle
up.
Jerks.
Yeah, and it was a small, like their budget's tight, man. They could have gotten a bigger U-Haul, dude. I moved with a bigger one by myself.
Yeah.
No cap.
It was like a half 18-wheeler, not even a half 18-wheeler.
But that real estate agent who got arrested for storming the Capitol and was talking all that crazy shit, she's from this area. Like, there's a lot of wild-ass stuff going on in Texas, and there's this triangle in DFW where there's a huge amount of just crazy stuff. A girl that we went to school with who's a teacher, she teaches out in the Denton area. That's pretty much all I'll say about it. But she was talking about how her class had been labeled as CRT, and it's like an inclusion class. It's not like they don't even teach that. They teach about like it's like social skills. It's like something that's essential to what these kids, what a lot of these kids are lacking nowadays. And how there was a woman who ran for, for a school president or, the superintendent of the school, and how like she was like, that triangle bleeds up and you can see it. And she sent me a map and was explaining some of the voting districts to me and just how how that stuff is just prevalent all over DFW. And this anti-CRT or like, this, big lie being perpetrated, or all of these other really just idiotic things that are being pumped out there, and misinformation, and people are taking it to a level of our public schools, taking it to all different levels across all different platforms, and subjecting other people to this. There's a guy who's running there's 850 books he wants to ban. 850 books. There's people who want to ban
freedom.
There's people who burn the book Fahrenheit 451 and don't understand why that's so idiotic and hilarious. That's a book.
Because those people, they don't read, bro.
No, I know, but I'm just like, they're like, this book's bad, and it'd be like, that book's about burning books. Like, oh my god. Well, I saw it was on HBO, and Michael B. Jordan, a black man, was in it, and that's why I didn't watch it. So that's why we got to burn the book. Like I feel like there's just
Colin Powell.
no.
Uh, uh, do you think we should wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, all right. Well,
I just feel like we're like just destroying the Republican Party,
that's
and
fine. We're at a minute and 17. All right. Well, look. All right. Jenny Thomas and Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, his wife.
well, like we could actually come back to that because they're calling her ass
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
to a committee.
if you don't, if you should watch. And she said she is excited to testify in front of them like a wild, crazy bitch. Y'all should also realize that this woman was in a cult, used to be in a cult when she was younger and got out, and now she's joined the MAGA cult.
Clarence Thomas's wife, y'all.
Clarence Thomas's
Supreme
wife,
Court Justice of the United States of America.
who isn't going to recuse himself from anything. The Supreme Court doesn't have a code of ethics. They should, and Congress could enforce it, but they choose not to because they don't care, because they think that they're above the law and they want to let them do whatever they want. Fuck Ginny Thomas. Sorry.
Are we surprised that Clarence Thomas had like a thick white wife?
Dude, you realize Clarence Thomas has got to be the most corrupt or most scandal-ridden Supreme Court justice.
I'm just talking about the race and weight of his wife.
Well, I'm not touching on that. That's inappropriate. But fuck her.
Fuck
her, but that's not nice.
This is just obvious
but
that
she
you would
sucks.
If you asked me to guess and I had no idea, I would guess that.
Fair enough. But y'all should watch this shit because it's gonna be wild. And then the other thing is my boy. I mean, I bag on him like you bag on Joey Bag of Donuts, Mr. Idiot Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
He was, he says a bunch of dumb shit. He mumbles his way through everything and is just incoherent and is like walking CTE. It's super frustrating and sad to watch. This gentleman who criticizes men who have like leave their wives or leave their kids. He has one child, his son, like a little TikTok star, conservative, like gay rights activist. The Texas GOP decided to vote out the log cabin Republicans and kick them out of the Republican convention. So
it's a gay activist for Republicans.
Yeah, it's the largest gay Republican activist group. They banned them from their event. I'm sorry, forgot about that. It's another just ridiculous, mind blowing. Herschel Walker, in the span of 2 days, had 3 secret kids come out that he's had with like 3 other women. So now he has a daughter and 3 boys, or 2 boys and 2 girls. I can't remember, but he's had 3 secret children come out in the past couple of days that he's never spoken of, never claimed, and now he's claiming them and that he's proud of them. And like this is the wildest shit ever. And this dude's got like secret kids. That's next level, man.
Dude, why isn't he on Maury?
He could be. I don't know, Murray. I don't know.
That's where I learned all my dance moves.
That ain't my kid, Murray.
Well, that's how I learned all my dance moves. Was black fathers being told they're not the father on Maury.
Dude, there's some good ones. Like there's one where this guy made it rain. There's another one where this guy does a backflip. He stands there and does like a backflip. It was like so lit. I was like, oh, I'm so happy for that guy. But that show is like I catch myself rooting for the guy, which maybe be bad, but I always feel like
City boys up
all day. Thick boy summer, right?
What was yesterday, homie? Father's Day.
That's true.
Guess we didn't have to celebrate. We ain't got no kids. We ain't got no kid that we know about. Maybe with Herschel Walker's.
Yeah, I went and kicked it with my dad and my nephew.
No, I did too.
It was lit as fuck. But took him to this like German brewery, and it was hella expensive, but the food was super good. I mean, my dad ordered the same shit without realizing it. It was tight. We were like gang all day. Thick boy summer, city boys up. But I definitely catch myself rooting for them
because
the guys get the worst rap on Maury. And I mean, I know they do their little like clips, and I know they make the guys sound like super toxic and shitty on purpose, but they just get booed the whole time. So whenever they're not the father, I'm so pumped for them because everyone's just been shouting profanities and telling them they suck. But the videos where they're like, nah, that ain't my kid. Like
I'll take the profanity and people booing me if like I find out that I'm not the father.
I used to play field hockey, and I got hit in the nuts, and I can't have kids, Murray, so that's why that ain't my kid. And they're like, boo, fuck you piece of shit. And then there's always...
What black guy played field hockey, dude?
Why does he have to be black?
Because it's Maury.
Hey man, like I totally tripped out, and like I know,
Connie Chung. That's his wife.
like I know that like when I do a lot of Molly and I'm at a music festival, I can't get it up. So there's like no way, bro. Like Mari, like that's not my fucking kid, dude.
Bro, why are you talking like DJ Ross right now? Close this out, dude.
Dude, that's absurd. Quit hating on that man. He's out there hustling.
Yeah, it's a shtick now.
That's your stick.
Yes, that's why
You doing.
I didn't tell you to do it.
You keep doing you, Sticky.
Thank you.
If I see a nice
Sticky.
nice lacy shawl, I'll buy it for you. Or some
He already has one.
steampunk glasses.
He already has one.
Yeah, I gotta wait till the next fall collection. It's got to get it quick. But
he wears it in the summertime, dude.
Yeah, y'all. Well, it's Miami. He's living it up, living his life like it's golden. But
Flaming, man.
Yeah, but y'all have a good week. Seriously, watch this committee shit. Pay attention. Fuck Texas right now. It's a war zone. But honestly, pay attention. Get out there and vote. These midterms are coming up. That they're just as important. Vote for city council. If you got anything that you can vote for, inform yourself. Don't just like scribble down one way. Because there's Republicans I agree with more than I would agree with the Democrat. Honestly, there's sometimes. Rare occasions, but pay attention, vote, inform yourselves, and watch this committee shit. It's super wild. Never seen anything like it. And just be nice to each other. Be positive. Stay warm, because you don't have a choice. All right, you guys be good. And like always, just go fuck yourselves. Take it easy. Peace.